March Madness is in full effect, and the Aggies are ready to dance. NM State men's and women's basketball punched their tickets to the NCAA Tournament and collected the hardware at the WAC Tournament in Vegas last week. The head coaches for both teams, Menzies and Coach Trakh, will stop by the studio to look back at the championship games and also look ahead to their opening games in the NCAA Tournament. The AggieVision will also take you inside the mind of women's basketball associate head coach Tamara Inoue after miking her up during the WAC Tournament. What a week it was for Aggie basketball. It's time to dust off your dancing shoes. This is New Mexico State Sports Weekly. We celebrate WAC Tournament Championships today on New Mexico State Sports Weekly. NM State men's basketball returned to Las Cruces on Sunday with more hardware. The Aggies cruised to a 19-point win against Seattle in the championship game of the WAC Tournament to pick up the conference's automatic bid to the NCAA Tournament. Here with me now is the WAC Coach of the Year, Menzies. Coach, a fourth straight conference tournament championship. It doesn't get old, does it?
No, it really doesn't. It's just winning never gets old, and so it's a good time. Speaking of winning, I want to make sure I acknowledge, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it, and we'll be talking about the accomplishments of the women's team. But I tell you what, and sometimes the women's sports get overshadowed a little bit because of the attention that the men's sports gets. But what Mark and Erica and Tamara and Cece and those guys have done over in the women's basketball office is nothing short than phenomenal. I mean, it really has been a great turnaround. Great staff, great kids, and they're just getting it done. I'm so happy for them because I'm there. We're off. Our offices are right next to each other, and they're grinders. I mean, they put in the time, the hours that they spend in that office, and the way they interact with the kids it's just really. They're getting it done, and sometimes I don't know if they get the props that they should get, but I just want to make sure I publicly mention how impressed I am with the job they're doing.
Similar to the women, your team jumped out to a big lead early against Seattle there in the championship game. Did the fresh legs play a big role? You guys got an early bye there in the tournament.
Yeah, you know what? I thought it hurt us in the first half of the first game, and I thought it paid dividends in the second half of the second game. It was one of those types of deals that you can't really assess until, because we've never done it before. Well, we've done it before, but we've never been in that position. I think Utah State had it once, and they won it when they had the bye. So, you don't really fully understand it until you go through the process. And after we went through it, I felt like, okay, this is a good thing. So I'm hoping we can keep the format. Well, we will for a couple years at least. So, I thought our guys were ready to roll and had much more energy the second game for sure.
A lot of guys contributed offensively, led by Remy's 21. Safe to say the offense was clicking on all cylinders?
Well, all cylinders, maybe not, but clicking well enough to get it done that night. There were still a lot of things that we could clean up, a lot of shot selection issues that I feel are easy areas to fix. Execution from a taking care of the ball and doing things a little bit better. I think what was it? Bakersfield just turned us over a little bit, and we can't do that. In the next game. So there's some areas that we can get better in.
Daniel Mollings only had 8 points, 7 assists though, but has to be nice to win by 19 on a night where Mollings doesn't even get to double figures.
You know what? He's just a winner. And guys that are winners don't necessarily have to always give you points. You've heard that whole adage about he's a stat sheet filler and that kind of deal, and it's true. But his energy and his defensive effort was off the charts. I don't know how many deflections he got, but he had over 10, I think, by himself. And our goal is 35. He had over 10 by himself. So, and we finally hit our goal of 35 this year. So that was the biggest thing. The biggest thing in that game, the final game, was I thought the way that we played defense. We ended up actually with 42 deflections.
You draw Kansas in the first game for you guys in the NCAA tournament. If you play like you did in the WAC championship game against Seattle, can you beat Kansas playing that way?
Probably not. We're going to have to play better. I think, the areas that I just mentioned in terms of the areas of improvement, we got to do a better job taking care of the ball. We have to be more efficient on offense in terms of our shot selection, even though, 21 points it's a good outing. But yeah, I think he actually could have even had a better percentage from the field had his shot selection been better. a little bit better. But it wasn't bad. I mean, he's obviously made shots. So Chalizi's playing great. I thought that DK's energy off the bench and the points that he gave us that were very opportunistic points. I mean, he hit a couple threes, I think, exactly at a time we needed them. So, and everybody played their role, but I still don't think that's enough to beat the big boys.
The Aggies open up play in the NCAA Tournament on Friday when they take on Bill Self's Kansas Jayhawks. When we return, Coach and I will break down the matchup against KU. Stay with us.
That is how you do it, baby. Aggie up, guys. Guns up, fellas.
Great to have you with us today on New Mexico State Sports Weekly. The WAC champions are gearing up for another trip to the NCAA Tournament. NM State men's basketball and head coach Marvin Menzies drew a 15 seed and will take on 2-seed Kansas Friday morning in their first game of the NCAA tourney in Omaha. Bill Self, the Kansas head coach, was surprised that he drew you guys in the first round. He thought you guys were going to be a 13 seed.
Right, I heard that.
Were you surprised by the 15 seed?
No, because I know between 13 and 15, it gets to be more strategic about placement for matchups based on geographics, based on, I mean, there's a host of issues that play a role of why you might slide between a 15 and a 14, or a 14 and a 13, or a 13 and a 15. So once you're in that group of, at least from my experience, once you're in that group of seeds, you could end up at any one of those three, and it is what it is. You're going to have to play a big-time team regardless. So,
last segment you talked about what your team needs to do to play well against Kansas. What does Kansas do really well that worries you?
Well, I think their pressure, their ability to guard the ball, and they really run. Their fast break might be the best we've seen this year, or faced this year. And then they've got some experience, and they've got some big time talent, and they've had some struggles with some different issues, but nothing that's I think is going to deter them from being one of the better teams, obviously, in the conference. And we got to not get caught up in the name of the school. We got to, the obvious things. We just need to be positive and do us and focus on the things that we've done well. So we'll operate as normal. You can't get too far outside of your box right now and freak your kids out either. It is what it is. It's business as usual. It's another team, another opponent. We played at Baylor. We played, at Wichita State. We played at the Pit. It's not like we haven't had experiences where we've been in big time environments. So you're always optimistic that your kids can take from what they've learned in the past and apply it to that day in front of them, which will be Friday.
And you have a lot of guys who have played in NCAA tournament games, and most notably Daniel Mullings, who has been to 4 straight.
Right.
Will there be a comfortable feeling as you walk into the gym in Omaha Friday?
I think so. I mean, I think DK was really nervous last year, and he admittedly so. I mean, he told me, he said, "Coach, that was overwhelming." Well, he's got that behind him now. Chili's been there and played, and Remy's been in those environments and played now. So I think those guys will know what to expect. You can't script that for them. You can't teach that to them. They have to go through it. And since they've been through it, I think they'll be fine.
Finally, Coach, is it safe to say the pressures are on Kansas? Not a whole lot of pressure on your guys.
No, 15 to 2 seed. I think the 2 seed wins 94% of the time in that particular matchup historically in the NCAA tournament. So I don't know if that's pressure on them, but it's definitely not on us. I mean, we are going to be relaxed, and we're going to go out and we're going to do what we need to do, and hopefully we'll end up on the right side of the bracket.
It's the Aggies and the Jayhawks Friday in Omaha. Coach, best of luck.
Thanks a lot, Adam.
When New Mexico State Sports Weekly returns, we turn our attention to Aggie women's basketball. Mark Track's team also came back to Las Cruces with the hardware after winning the Women's Conference Championship in Vegas. Coach Trakh is with us after the break. What a year it has been for NM State women's basketball. The Aggies have now won 22 of their last 24 games after cruising past UTPA last weekend in the championship game of the conference tournament in Vegas. The Aggies now head to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1988. WAC Coach of the Year, Mark Trakh, is with me in studio. Coach, it keeps getting sweeter and sweeter. You head off to the NCAA Tournament. Has it soaked in yet?
Well, you know, it is soaked in, but even at the end of the Texas Pan Am game, you know, we're there in the last 4 minutes, and you figure we're gonna win it, and amazing crowd, and I'm thinking, stop turning the ball over, you know, let's you know. So I'm coaching against the, so you live in that moment where you're just coaching the game, but afterwards you look up and you say, wow, you know, we just did something really special here, and you start enjoying it. And I just kind of soaked it all in after the game. I watched the kids cut down the nets, you know, I watched their trophy presentation. You know, it was really seeing the look on their faces, that look of satisfaction, know that they did the best that they could possibly do. It really was heartwarming, and I just loved that. Loved it for the kids. They just worked their tails off for that moment, and just really appreciated it.
You jumped out to a 20-point lead rather early. Best start you could have hoped for?
Yeah, we shot 70% from the field in the first half, and Sasha Weber just got us going. You know, Abby hit a three in the corner, Sasha got us going, and Brianna was unstoppable inside. So it gave us momentum, it gave us confidence, and we're up by, I think, 19 at halftime, and then we had to manage the second half, and we did. But yeah, the kids just really came out, and they were like, hey, this is our championship, we're going to get this today. And I love to see that focus and that determination.
It was a balanced scoring attack once again, just like it has been all year. Brianna Freeman gets the tournament MVP, but just like the regular season, it could have gone to a number of your players. Yeah,
I mean, Brianna, you know, well deserved, but Sasha Weber, you know, Sasha Weber really carried us. I mean, she did a great job in both games. You know, made some big shots, got us going. So I don't think it wouldn't have been unfair if either one of those players got it, either Brianna or Sasha. But Sasha really carried us in key spots in that game, and really did everything. I mean, she rebounded, she defended, she made shots, she took care of the basketball. Sasha never ever gets knocked off the ball, and never ever has a turnover. So she had an amazing West Coast Conference tournament, and we very much appreciate this kid, because she's going to go down and be one of the great players in our history.
You mentioned on numerous occasions your team is playing with house money. You were picked to finish 5th in the WAC in the preseason. There's not a whole lot of pressure on your team going forward, is there?
No, I mean, we're picked to finish 5th, and we don't have we have one senior, you know, Jasmine Rutledge, but everybody's back. You know, all the kids that play are back. You know, we've got some kids that are not playing that much right now that can really develop in the next year, so we might be even deeper, and I'm looking for them to develop. And we got a great recruiting class coming in with a 6'4" center that's here already. Taisha Taylor is one of the top big kids in the country, recruited by Erica Hughes. And then we've got Geneva Toitola out of Hawaii, and I hope I pronounced that Hawaiian name correctly, that last name. And a great 6-foot guard, Brooke Evans, out of Brooke Salas, out of California, Brooke Salas Evans, and she's going to be a real good player for us. So we're going to be really deep and be big, and the future looks very bright.
Looking forward to the NCAA tournament. You've been there before. Your players haven't. What can you tell them about the experience that can help them going forward?
Well, the experience is great. The attention, the way the kids are treated. You know, we're pulling for a charter flight, you know, so the kids can have the experience of a charter flight. But it's going to be an amazing experience. Just everything that they do, from the press conferences to the practices to the open practices. It's a great experience for a kid to have. You know, I want them to have one of two things. Have the championship experience, and now we've had 2 championships experience. You know, we've had the tournament and the regular season, and I want them to have the NC2A experience, and they're just going to learn. And they're super excited right now. They're so happy right now. It's so, for lack of a better word, it's just so heartwarming to see how they're responding to all of this.
Coach and I will discuss the upcoming NCAA tournament when New Mexico State Sports Weekly returns. Welcome back to New Mexico State Sports Weekly. Adam Young joined by women's basketball head coach Mark Trakh here after the selection show on this Monday night in Las Cruces. Coach, you draw a 16 seed. You're going to play 1 seed Maryland in College Park. Your early thoughts?
We're excited. We're going to the tournament. We started 0-5. We were supposed to pick. We were picked to finish 5th in our conference, and we're going to the NCAA tournament. We're not going to the NIT. We're not going to the WBI. We're going to the NCAA. So we're excited. We're excited about this experience and what this challenge poses, and we're just going to go out there, play our hearts out, and have some fun.
Have you seen Maryland play at all on TV so far this year?
I've seen them play a few times. They're very, very good, very well coached, undefeated in the Big Ten, #1 seed. They're really a tough team. So it's going to be a challenge, but you never go in a game thinking that you're not going to win. We're going to prepare to win this game. We're going to go hard in practice. And then, like I said, we're going to go out there and enjoy the experience.
How do you get ready for Maryland? I'm sure you lean heavily on your assistants here during this time.
Yeah, I mean, Tamara Inoue does a great job preparing. She's still prepared for the game. We'll get some film on Maryland, and we'll get to work right away.
You practice, I'm sure, Tuesday and then Wednesday, then head out Thursday. Is that the plan?
Yeah, we're going to head out Thursday. We're going to take a chartered flight, part of their NCAA experience, drive right up at the tarmac, get on the plane, have the NBA experience. And that's part of it. That's what's going to be so great about this kid, just having this whole experience. So we're going to enjoy it to the hilt.
What's your message to your players as you build up this experience towards Saturday?
You're going to get there. You're going to play a Big Ten team. You're playing Big Ten players. You're playing top-of-the-line BCS players. Measure yourself against them. Play them hard. And this summer now, you'll have something to measure yourself. You'll know firsthand what these players are like. And to compete with them, get in the weight room, get in the gym.
You think this can be good for the future, don't you?
I think it's great for the future. This year we get a 16. Next year we get 2 bigs in. Well, we toughen up the schedule. We play Arizona and Vanderbilt. Hopefully we can win a couple of those games. Maybe go in as an 11 next year. Maybe go in as a 13th. At Pepperdine, I had a team that went in as an 8. At USC, we went in as an 8. So we can work our way down. My first Pepperdine team went in as a 15. My second team went in as an 8. So that's what we got to do. Just keep working and getting better. I'm just so excited to be in the tournament, that is 16th. If they had a play-in game, I would do that like the men. I don't care. We're there. And, it's like, what message do you send your team if you look up there and you say, oh, my God, we're playing Maryland? I'm like, yeah, we're playing Maryland. And, you saw that tape with the coach dancing, doing that, Brenda Freese dancing. Yep. I'm telling you, you should have saw Tamara Inoue after that. She's going to challenge her to a dance-off after the game, and Tamara's going to win.
All right, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
When New Mexico State Sports Weekly returns, we'll take a look inside the head of Associate Head Coach Tamara Inoue. AggieVision mic'd her up during the WAC Tournament in Vegas. That comes your way next on New Mexico State Sports Weekly. NM State Women's Basketball Associate Head Coach Tamara Inoue has played a big role in the Aggies' success this season on the hardwood. The former star player at California and Long Beach State has helped lead the Aggies to their first NCAA tournament appearance since 1988. AggieVision had the chance to mic up the 4th-year Aggie coach during last week's conference tournament in Vegas.
Let's go! We got him! You guys rebound, crash the boards, run on them. Okay, it's the moment you guys play for. You worked hard all season. Come on, Shanice! Come on. Let's go! Watch quarter socks. There you go. Gotta get out to that corner every time, okay? That corner's every time. I know, but you gotta see it. You gotta stand on top of the block and see it. You're screaming at your corner. Just get out to that corner. That's it. Good. Let's go. Take her, Sasha. There you go. That's it. It gets cleared out every time. Well, we got 20 more minutes. You gotta step up. You got Sasha right behind you. There you go, Sasha. Let's go. There you go. Oh, and go. 5. Come on. Good. That'd be good. That's good. Every time. That's good. Just like that. Every time. Above the free throw line. Mark above. Just it's all right. You take him up. Come on, bro. Come on, Mo. No. rebound with Mo down there. Go up around and rebound and team. You go. You got this, Mo. And don't draw in and help strong side. Stay on your players. Okay? They're trying to draw you to kick, so stay out of the ring. Back up. There you go. 2, 1. That's it. Good. Stop, coach. All you gotta do is survive.
Next week on New Mexico State Sports Weekly, we'll have even more content from the Aggies' run in the WAC tournament, which includes an in-depth look at head coach Marvin Menzies from Aggie men's basketball. Tickets for baseball and softball are on sale right now. To be part of the excitement, call the Aggie ticket office at 575-646-1420. You can also get your tickets online at nmstatesports.com or ticketmaster.com. If you missed any part of today's show, check us out on YouTube, and also be sure to stay up to speed on social media by liking New Mexico State Athletics on Facebook and following us on Twitter. That will do it for this week's installment of New Mexico State Sports Weekly. I'm Adam Young saying thank you for watching, and go Aggies.